Hello, fellow Haskellers! Welcome to my first stream! So excited! As I was playing around with the OBS settings, I discovered that there's a way to I didn't really discover by fooling around. I discovered by Googling how to do it and learning that it is possible to configure OBS to display a timer at the beginning so that you don't just watch the image you were just looking at. Let me show it to you again. It's not triggering. Okay, so I briefly showed it to you again. So what I want to do is to show a countdown on that screen so that you know like how much time to wait before I start talking. By Googling, I discovered that the way in which we can make a countdown is by downloading some fancy application that just writes a piece of text, just like the time, to a file, and then OBS is able to read this file as it changes and display the text to the screen. And so I thought, I don't want to download a complicated file to do such a simple task. Let's just write a Haskell program. And as I was about to write the program, I thought, and I should do that on stream, because the whole point of trying to discover how OBS works is because I want to start streaming. I want to show you how I write Haskell code. So that's what the stream is about, just writing a very simple program which writes a timeout to the screen. So let's begin with this empty file. I like to use duck_test. That was just a sample test. That's obviously not the one that I will want for my timer. Actually, I don't think a duck_test is the best way to test a timer because this is dynamic. I think I want to run the program and see its output. But it will output to a file, so I need to see the output of the file. Oh, I know. I can ask Twitch to display the output of the file. So currently, Twitch is configured to show the output of movies, streaming, countdown.txt, which is currently empty. And if I put hello in there, then Twitch will read it and will display it when I switch to the intro page. But I want to be able to debug it here, so I will make it visible here as well. And as you can see, if I change the content, it changes the content on the screen as well. So that sounds like a good way to test the outcome. So that means that I won't need to be running --test. Just want to know if there are any errors or warnings. Okay. And that also means I don't want to run the test. Okay. So what do I want this program to do? Well, I want it to count down, say, 5 minutes. I guess I want it to be configurable, but let's begin with 5 minutes. Let's say there's a function, countdown, that will take a number of minutes. Should I give it a number of minutes or a number of seconds? Let's say a number of seconds. Takes a number of seconds and counts down to 0. Okay, so that's gonna be an IO action because I want this to write to a file. So this should probably also take the file. Writing down the amount of time left to the given file. All right. So now I take 2 arguments, not 1. That's much better. Okay, so now I can deal about I can deal with whether I want the input to be in minutes or seconds later, and main will take care of that. And for now, I can focus on the logic in countdown and just test it with, what is the file I said it was? In movie streaming countdown. And I don't think it will work with the tilde, will it? Well, I can always try. And let's try like 10 seconds, since I will be testing this very often, maybe even like smaller than that, 5 seconds. And for now, let's just take the file path and the number second, no, just whatever, and just test the write file to the file path. It needs to be a string. So if I run the program, will the text change from world to the string 5? Or will the tilde mess it up? Yes, the tilde did mess it up, so I need to expand home to my home folder. Okay, so this time I am more optimistic that the text will update from world to 5. It did, great. All right, so I just want to wait 1 second and call this recursively with a smaller number. So thread delay from, oh, I don't need duck test anymore, from control system with concurrent. Let's try control. Yeah, it's from control.concurrent, and it's I don't know if it's like microseconds or even smaller units than that. All I remember is that 1 million of those is 1 second, and so n times 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, that's a million. After that, I want to recur with the same file and a smaller number, the predecessor of n, and I'll deal with the termination condition later. I can do it now. If n is 0, then we're done. Because I want to end with 0. Like I could terminate before writing file, in which case it would end with 1. That's what I meant. And otherwise, I want to sleep and try again. So, will this count from 5 to 0? Suspense. Yes! It seems to be taking more than a second. Oh, it jumped from 2 to 0. Okay. Not sure what's happening there. Oh, actually, the fact that it jumped directly from 2 to 0 to 0 kind of implies that the latency I'm observing is the latency of OBS reading the file, and not a problem with my program. So I think I will keep it this way. Am I done? No, I'm not done, because I'm only counting the seconds. I want to display slightly better text than that. So how about show time as a function, show time, which will convert an int to a string in a slightly smarter way than just show. Just make sure this is the same program as before, same behavior as before. Okay, so if the number is if the number is less than 60, I was thinking that maybe I would wanted to display it differently, but no, I think I will always want to show the same format. Some number, some other number. That's a printf format. Add a colon in between. Like I was thinking about maybe if there's fewer then 60 seconds, I wouldn't write the minutes in the column, but then you would just see a number and you wouldn't know that they are seconds, although you would probably guess because the number decreases every second. But with the 0 in front, I think it's clearer that it is the number of seconds. Printf comes, I believe, from text.printf. And I need to give it the number of minutes and divided by 60. And the number of seconds, n mod 60. And let's try this again. The seconds seem much slower than real seconds. I don't know. Just feels to me that they are slower. Is it not? Well, if I was off by a certain number of zeros, like it would be 10 seconds instead of 1, or it would be 1/10 of a second. It would be very, very visible. So I again, it feels off, but I don't think my program is to blame. Okay, so I just want to test with a number that is bigger than a minute. Just 62. Then I'll interrupt it because I don't want to wait an entire minute looking at the counter going down. I see 102, I don't see it going down. Oh, I know what's going on. Instead of sleeping 1 second, I slept n seconds. So now it's sleeping for 62 seconds and so on. So since it was only 3 seconds, that's why it felt off to me. It's because it was off. There was a bug in my program after all. But it wasn't 10 seconds as it would have been if I had 1 0 too many. It was off by only times 3 because I was multiplying by 3 and then by 2 and then by 1. And that's why we were skipping directly from the 2 to 0. Is that why? No, because you'd be sleeping for 0 seconds only when it's 0. We should still be sleeping for 1 second when it's 1. Anyway, so now I think that should look much better now that I fixed this silly bug. Much better. I should know better than to blame other software for the latency of OBS or whatever, than to default to blaming the code I just wrote. I have enough years of experience to know that this is the most likely explanation whenever there is a bug. All right, so almost done. I feel like it's going to be a very short stream today. I just want command line interface so that I can specify for how much time to wait. I think I will specify it in the same format so that I can write something like, well, not main, but when I will call this program, I guess I will call it countdown or something. So on the command line, it would be something like countdown. I want to specify it as 5 minutes. So that means that I want to parse, I guess, read time. Should probably define a new type for that. And in fact, there's probably already a type that has the instances I need somewhere on Hackage, but it seems easy enough to implement myself. So just to finish, let's see. So now there's more than one possibility, because if I count down with just the string like 5, this would probably be interpreted as 5 seconds. I don't want to force the user, which is me, to write this. Although considering the way in which the program is going to be used, 5 minutes is probably going to be more common than 5 minutes is probably going to be more common than 5 seconds. So maybe I should interpret a raw number 5 as being minutes. So I think there's a few helpful functions in data list that I can use to ask if colon is in fix of the string, and if so, I want to read it as an int and then multiply by 60. Yeah, it's not exhaustive, I know. And otherwise, let's see, I want to split at the colon. Span? No. Break, I believe, is the function which goes, which takes a predicate and breaks the string at the first character which satisfies a predicate. So equals colon, and oh, this is in the otherwise clause. This will return the number of minutes and colon followed by number of seconds, plural, and I need to parse both of them, not as a tuple, but number of minutes times 60 plus number of seconds. And now I regret getting rid of my duck test setup, because now I would like to test those pure functions. So I think I will bring it back. Port test duck test and duck test of the current file. Comment out the actual program for now and rerun gcd-test main. So now I should be able to test my pure functions. If I show 5 or 62, I expect to get string 005 and 102. Indeed, and if I read back those two strings, 005 and 102, and we said there's something special for just 5. I want to read whatever is 5 minutes in seconds. It still thinks it's non-exhaustive. Oh, not only does it think it's not exhaustive, this is not a warning, this is the error from running my tests. So it is not exhaustive. I'm not only am I missing a pattern, it's a pattern I've actually encountered. Okay, so what's going on? Oh, if colon is not in fix of, then I want to interpret it as minutes. So I'll just move things around. All right. So this is my cat, Domino. Okay. 300 sounds like a plausible number for the number of seconds in 5 minutes. And 5, and the other one, I expect 62. Let me know. I'm interrupting my stream. Either pause for the camera or move away, but don't like show your butt to the camera or something. All right. Okay, so all of my duck tests are passing. This is good. Oh, and there's no longer the warnings about the there's no longer the warnings about the fact that my patterns are non-exhaustive, but this pattern here is non-exhaustive. But since I'm using let instead of using a case expression, GC trusts that I know what I'm doing. Forget what's the name of those patterns, like non-refutable or something. And so it doesn't emit a warning, which is unfortunate because there is a way to improve this code so that it satisfies the exhaustivity checker. I could do a pattern match on break, and then if it indeed gives what I expect in the case in which colon is in fix, then I can do the thing that I want to do in that case. And otherwise, so that's something that I will do both if colon is found in the string or not. In both cases, I try to break the string at the place where a colon is found, if any, but if none is found, then there will be a single number that I want to interpret as a number of minutes, and there will be, well, I know it will be the empty list, because the only thing which the first entry of the second list can be is a value that satisfies this predicate and can only be colon. So that has to be the empty list, but if I write the empty list after finishing the code, then it will complain that the pattern matches are non-exhaustive because it thinks, well, what about something like the character A or whatever, right? And so, but since the empty list doesn't bind any variable, I can just use underscore, and that will satisfy the type checker. I want to read mins. Excellent. So the type checker is happy. One last improvement. So here I'm calling read. This is partial. I should be using read maybe. Let me know. Okay. I believe it's in text.read. In text.read we have read maybe. And like I could do like case, read maybe, blah blah blah, of if it's a just or not, but I like to use view patterns. So read maybe, if I successfully parse the number as a just, and this number as a number of seconds, then I can use those as numbers. Yes. I need to enable view patterns. All right, line 29. What's it complaining about? Couldn't match expected type string arrow int with the actual type char in a view pattern. Oh, here, I forgot to pattern match on the just. That was not the problem, but it was a different problem. So what is the problem then? Yeah, I don't see it. Couldn't match expected type string arrow maybe int. So that's the type of read maybe. With actual type string. Well, I'm pattern matching on a string. Am I wrong about the type of read maybe? This is... I see I have a non-zero number of viewers. If you know what the bug is, please tell me in the chat. A view pattern expression expects one argument. Yeah. But its type has none. Oh, could it be that read maybe is not actually a function that is in scope, but is like interpreted as a pattern or something? No. What's the type of read maybe? Just put all of that as a comment for now and ask what is the type of read maybe? Oh, of course, the rest doesn't pass either, because I just commented out read time. Okay, so it does type string arrow maybe a, just as I expected. So what am I doing wrong? Am I wrong about the syntax of view patterns? Maybe I just need some parentheses and it's not parsing in the way I expect. Oh, well, the type is, the error is very different now. So it does seem plausible that I was just missing some parentheses. Oh, and the error is now on a different line that also has a view pattern. So maybe this one also needs some parentheses. Oh, and adjust. All right, so that was the problem. I was just missing some parentheses. Now, next problem, pattern matches are not exhaustive. I thought I had jumped through a bunch of hoops to make it exhaustive, and I did, but then I switched from read to read maybe, and now it's no longer exhaustive, I think. Oh, because I'm only pattern matching on the case in which it returns a just, but it could be returning nothing, in which case I don't think I can parse the time. So let me return a maybe. And the case in which it will return nothing is the case in which it's not even a number, like hello, world cannot possibly be parsed as a time. So I want to return just in the cases in which it succeeds, and otherwise nothing. That's exhaustive, excellent. And now I no longer need any duck tests. I want to go back to running the program, and this time wait, instead of deleting the duck test code, I will put it in a test function to make it easy to run again if I end up wanting to run more duck tests. In fact, I can do both now, because if I make it compile, I think I just need to uncomment that, yeah. So instead of dash dash test equals main, I can do dash dash test equal test. And so GHCID will be running the tests, while stack run will be running the program. And we'll see again the countdown from 1 minute and 2 seconds. Hopefully soon. Excellent. I saw it start at 101. Is it skipping the first? I don't think so. But this time I will not blame OBS. Let me run it a second time, just make sure it starts at 102. I can't see it starting at 101. Why is that? I assume I write the correct number. Give it 62, call show time. I know that show time of 62 is 102, so it should write 102 and then wait a second. Why does it seem to start at 101? That I do not know. Guess I'll live with that bug for now. Okay, so what did I want to do? I wanted the program to take the time as an argument. So get args, I believe, is from. I just need to undo. What did I type? Okay, I just want to. Okay, something is very wrong. Okay, so something was wrong with my editor. Okay, I just want it to type check once I will find the correct import so that I can test that my guess about the import is correct. So that will be, this time it's in system. System dot, I think, environment. Okay, so I can get the arguments, and I would like to parse the arguments. So, well, it returns a list, so I think I need to parse the list. So, like, we'll probably do something special if it's dash dash help. And the same thing if it's dash h. And the same thing if it's any other pattern than what I expect. And finally, what I expect is that there's only one argument, and read time correctly parses as a just of the number of seconds, in which case I call countdown with its two arguments. I need to enable lambda case, which I use very often. I was surprised that lambda case was not picked as one of the now default extensions in GHC 2021. Let's see, 66 is an empty do. Yeah, it is an empty do. You are correct, GHC. Well, I want to do the same thing here as I do in the case with the help and dash h. So I guess I will call a function help, which just prints some help message, and call it in all the cases. But in this case, it's not just that the user asked to show the help and we succeeded, but rather that the user did something wrong, and we want to explain, like unrecognized something, probably even, yeah, protest.run. Let me know. Let me see the camera. Here. Go under the table and don't. Okay, so. Yes, unrecognized arguments. I guess I need to name the arguments. And then call help, and then for good measure, exit failure from system.exit. But something is wrong. I don't know what this line is doing there. Alright, I just need to craft some nice help text. Usage, countdown, like, just give the example. And the explanation is this thing. Oh, do I want to hardcode this file? Well, since it's for my own personal usage, I guess I'm fine with hardcoding the file. If I was doing something a bit more serious, I'd probably need to add it as a parameter, maybe a configuration file. But I don't think I need that today. Okay, so now it's no longer the given file because it's hard-coded. No, that doesn't take a number of seconds. Countdown for the given amount of time. writing the result, this can fit in this line. Writing down the amount of time left to the OBS file. I guess I should probably write which file it is. The OBS file is this file. And here I want to print what the OBS file is. Alright, so if I call it incorrectly, like I have been calling it from the beginning with 0 arguments, it should complain that the arguments are unrecognized. Indeed, unrecognized arguments empty list. I think the empty list case should just display the help without complaining. Excellent. And if I write some random garbage, now it will say it's unrecognized. And if I give 5 minutes, it counts down from 5 minutes. Again, skipping the very first second for reasons I don't understand. And if, oh, what happens at the end? So if I give it a very small number of time, just stop us at 0, and I think that's a fine behavior. Okay. The last thing I would like to do is to figure out why it is that it doesn't write down the number, the first number. So let's see, if I repeatedly output that file, I guess while true, get the file, or do get the file, done. Then I should be able to see. Oh, I now notice that there's no new line afterwards. I should be able to see if it writes a 2 or not. Yes, it did print a 2. So I revert to my initial guess that it's some latency in OBS. Guess I'll have to live with it. Okay, so that was my program. I'm quite happy with it, and I guess I will use it at the beginning of the next stream to let you know how many seconds are left before I start checking. So thank you for attending my very first stream. I did tell you that I expected to stumble around, and I did, but it was not issues with OBS, it was mostly my cat that I didn't know how to handle. So thanks to you for being here, and see you next time.